It's been now well over a month since I've seen the pretty teal and blue waters of the Atlantic, and I sure do miss that. But hopefully soon its clear beauty will return. Today I'm starting out at a high to dropping tide here in Palm Beach. Despite the rough waves, we'll find a few beauties, including a cute little Triton, lion's paws, lots of Scotch bonnets, and one little stutter, a Florida Nautica, and some sea beans. I've been working on wire wrapping these, and I love the results so far. Welcome to Florida Beach Walks. I'm Roxanne. Let's go shelling in Palm Beach. Starting out a little overcast today, but no rain. It's supposed to clear up and the sun will definitely make an appearance today, and the cooler weather has been so nice. Oh, it's like walking in air condition, which is always a plus. All right, so the tide is dropping, lots of scarping on this wall here. I actually have not seen it this bad at the beginning of the beach park. So we're just gonna look up here on the high rack and see what we can find till that tide drops a little bit and throws lots of shells on the beach. Lots of bittersweets, but there are a few beauties in between all the bittersweets. And here's a nice pop of orange. Great way to start the morning with a rough scallop. Needs a little cleaning, and here is an even better way to start. Yay, my favorite shell, a lion's paw. And here's a really gorgeous thorny oyster, a little wonky on the shape, but these colors on the thornies can be really pretty. A giant bittersweet clam, a nice mature size on this one. And not only do these have the pretty chevron pattern you see here, these also have a large number of chevron-shaped teeth. The hinge teeth and bivalves ensure that the two shell parts, or valves, they don't slide past each other in opposite directions when under a predator attack. Gorgeous color on this one. It is broken, but this thorny is sporting a gorgeous gold color. Love that. I have a massive thorny oyster, bigger than my whole hand spread, that I found in a dredge pile that I like to put a lot of the colorful thornies in, and it looks really pretty. Really pretty there. Here is another one. Oh, this one is modeled of both of them. Oh, and it's in the shape of a heart. I love that. Yay. Love shapes and colors. Oh, shells. I know you know what I mean. Here's a little shark eye on the smaller side. We'll go ahead and collect that one. No holes, no predator holes in this little guy. And here is a Atlantic giant cockle, the heart cockle, and a chestnut turban. Go ahead and just collect a few in there, and another giant bittersweet, very tiny on that juvenile guy. And another juvenile with even better color. Really love the dark ones like that. It's just so pretty. And I guess they are what they eat. Maybe that's why they vary a little bit in the color there. Here's a colorless spiny Jewelbox. Not much color on the inside. On the East Coast here, and a piece of a deer cowrie. Whew, that would have been a find. Always looking out for these cowries, but let me tell you, they are so hard to find. I know a lot of people come over here and they really want to find these cowries, but let me tell you, I've been shelling 6 years and I only found a handful at the beach. They are hard to come by. Here is a bittersweet. These are not very hard to come by. There's tons of them. And a yellow leafy Jewelbox. This is the bottom valve that it would attach itself or cement itself to. That is a massive size. Let's see what we got. Ooh, a Florida Nautica. Now that is what I'm talking about. That's beautiful. I've been pretty lucky lately finding Man, have I? Yeah, I think 3 weeks in a row I've been finding these on the beach. All right, here's some lady-in-waiting Venus clams. Well, one. Ha! I think I picked up another one. Yeah, there we go. Another lady-in-waiting. But lots of bittersweet. It's like finding Waldo. Finding Waldo amongst the shells. There's so many. Like, what eats? I gotta look up what eats these bittersweets. Because all along Palm Beach and Jupiter, it's just a plethora of bittersweets. Ooh, that would have been nice. That is a zigzag, well, part of a zigzag flat scallop. The upper valve is the flat one, and its bottom valve is concave. Here's another shark eye. And, oh, I thought that was a whole lion's paw. my heart leapt. Oh, that color is pretty. And here's, okay, it's very worn, but sinistral left opening there. That is a lightning whelk. So as the tide dropped, it just left these massive spreads of bittersweet shells. And I just tried to see if I could find anything, if anything popped out. But let me know if I missed anything. And here is another heart cockle. Go ahead and collect that one. In pretty good shape, as well as a lion's paw piece. Oh, that is a gorgeous color. An Imperial Venus clam. These are also known as Pawleys Island shells, as these historically have been found in abundance on Pawleys Island in South Carolina. Now, this is a very beautiful sight. A lion's paw that is red. Missing its hinge wings, all right. Thorny oyster, get a little time, but look at that paw. That is blood red, beautiful, and a couple of giant bittersweets. A really nice coloring on this broad rib cardita, like the coloring we've been finding on the thorny oysters. It is quite something to just watch these huge waves crashing on in over the rocks out there. And I spent a little time in the surf trying to pick out some shells. Didn't find much. I found this big piece of a milk conch, and here is a bottle bottom. And I didn't find too much else in the surf out here. Heart bean or a lucky bean. I had mentioned that I wanted to start crafting these, but not sure how, and after playing around a little bit, I landed on wire wrapping them, and I really love how it has been turning out. My first few were a hot mess, and then I found a tutorial online with this design, and I just really love like the heart and the tree incorporated into it, being a sea heart bean. I did make a few of these, and I'll have a couple of them in my Etsy shop, and I did message the tutorial owner, did get her blessing on selling these with her design from that tutorial, and I will link that in this video's description. Not passing up collecting these sea beans anymore because they got a purpose now. I've really enjoyed that project, and I'll also try to sell some sea beans in my Etsy shop too when I collect enough. Here's another thorny oyster, a little chip on the side, but hey, it's got a single thorn and a really nice size. Gnarly shape to this one. A ton. Now this is about probably the closest to a whole one that I've found. Just been holding on to one large piece that I do have, but that would have been a perfect juvenile one. I'd say that's about a 88% there. Walk towards the large chunk on the beach. Haha, just imagine if that was like a helmet or something. Okay, it's broken. It looks like a very large piece of what was once a whole lightning whelk. That's pretty big. I'll go ahead and keep this one. I do have a garden that I keep larger and the larger broken shells in, so I'll just add that one. A chip of an alphabet cone. These can be found whole, more south, like in the Boca area. And here's a giant coquina. Don't have the purple. It doesn't have the purple on this one. A hamburger bean, nice and round there. The brown version. And we have some more giant bittersweet clams. Now it's broken, but it is a cherry Jewelbox, the top lid. Oh, look how deep, rich color that is. I'm going to hold on to it even though it's broken. Man, I'm going to find one of these hopefully one day that is not broken in that deep red color. That was a good size paw. Go ahead and hold on to that piece. And I did pick up a few of the spectral bittersweet clams in the white variety so I could make more of the flowers that I made a few episodes ago. I had made some flowers out of these and put them on a picture frame, and I really liked how it turned out. Okay, can you see the sea glass? It is white, it is clear, and it is very overlooked. It takes a while to spot these. Here's an easier one to spot. Happy to find a little bit of sea glass. Here at MacArthur, I found some really nice chunks of sea glass, and I almost cut my finger on those. I was just turning over some seaweed, and boy, those barnacles, these are Triton Acorn barnacles, can get pretty sharp. And I did bleach this up just a little. I was nervous about putting it in bleach because it would, I didn't want it to disassemble, but it stayed together and it looks really nice. Let's show you at the end all cleaned up. Here's the shark eye, much larger than the other little ones we are finding. Now that one has a little bit of a protruding center, which is like typical on your false shark eyes. They would have that, and then there's another little characteristic on the bottom there would be dented, but nope, that one's nice and smooth. Nice little freak olive. No, not freak olive. Freak shark eye. Now that's a sundial. Okay, this one's a little chewed up too, but sundials also are not very easy to find, so it is fun finding a sundial. Alrighty, Scotch bonnet. Ooh, and this one has the extra lip, the double lip Scotch bonnet. All right, a little soft on that tip, but it's there and I'll collect it. And here's another one. Oh, but let's pick up the cherry first. That is another cherry Jewelbox, not as saturated with color, just a little tinge of a deep pink there, but that also is pretty good coloring. Oh, I cannot wait to find a really, really saturated one like that broken one we found a little bit earlier. Go ahead and collect the Scotch bonnet that was next to it, and here is a fold striped lippet. I'm not going to keep this, but I just had to come check it out because it was huge. This is a Sawtooth pin, and I think that hanging out the bottom, it looks like a stick, but I think it's also, let's see. Yeah, see, I think it's the byssus fibers hanging out, intertwined on the bottom there. It uses those fibers. It'll attach itself to some substrate or rock or whatever it anchors itself to on the seafloor. And a beautiful colored brown bonnet or darker Scotch bonnet, but man, it's missing its tip. I really wish it had its tip. I find a lot of the white ones, but these brown ones spotted like this are just so pretty to find. All right, did you miss it? Because I certainly did. When I hit the stop button on the camera, I guess I was actually just hit record, so I completely missed myself picking up this shell. So I did reenact finding it here at the Jupiter Inlet. Actually, on my way home, I had stopped by the Jupiter Inlet, and I was like, hey, I'm here. Let me re-record that. I was trying to send it to Chalet, and I was like, what did I do with it? I couldn't find it. So that's when I realized I did not have a recording of it. Oh, goodness. But I love finding these hairy Tritons. Doesn't matter what size they are a little bit of an elusive shell. And even more elusive to me are these Gaudy Asaphis shells. I've only actually found a few of these when I was over at Peanut Island, and I was looking at the Broward County Shell Club, and there's a post of these beautiful colors, like solid purple like that, not just on the tip, but like the whole shell, even the backside. And some of them are like sunrise, like sun rays. Oh, just gorgeous. I'll actually link that post in the first comment also of this video. Another Scotchy. Let's see what else we can find amongst the bittersweets. And another one. But this was my favorite shell, and this sure hands down went straight into the shell cabinet. When I got home, it has all of its spots, perfect little brown one. I love the striping on that lip. That is one stunner of a shell, and I was so thankful because after finding that one that had the chipped tip there, I was like, oh man, am I gonna find another one? But yay, I did. You gotta be quick. Oh, okay, it was a little bit cracked and totally missing this tip, so I just left that bonnet there. But man, you see a shell, these waves comes, you gotta grab it or you're never gonna find it again, especially when the waves are so bad. Now in this one spot in particular, okay, here's the comparison to like a typical Scotch bonnet that I would find. But in this one little area, there's another one. I just noticed a whole cluster of these Scotch bonnets. Really pretty orange piece of that lion's paw too. And I find that sometimes like shells would just be clustered up. I had a whole handful of Scotch bonnets. That's a good sized one. A little repair job on the shell on that one. And there's another rare shell. Blends in with the rest of the white. An Atlantic Distorsio, but I wish that was not chipped there on the front side. The tips on these are typically chipped, so that's okay, but we'll hold on to it. And here's a pretty decent turkey wing, a little one. And a chestnut, but that's a little, we'll just leave that there. Saw a few of these sponges washing up with all the rough surf. This is a branching vase sponge, type of tube sponge. And another lightning whelk, a little, okay, the siphon's a little chipped off there, but the siphon canal, but I'll hold on to that lightning whelk. For the East Coast, that's not bad. Not quite sure what this is. Looks, okay, it is a little broken there, but maybe it like some type of auger, kind of has an auger shape to it. I don't know. If you know, let me know. All right, a scaly scallop, a very bright one. These orange colored scalies are probably the most common scaly scallop color form around these beaches, and that is a beautiful striping on that bittersweet. And this is a pretty big Jewelbox. Yay! And it has pink on it. And on the tip there, the umbo of the shell. Oh, I love that. I do not find these with color on the East Coast. That's nice. All right, here's another bonnet. We are not finished with the bonnets. I did find quite a few bonnets. All right, no more after this one. I promise. It's the last. It's the last Scotch bonnet. Last Scotch bonnet. All right, we got a keyhole limpet, and that is a rather large one. I believe it is a cayenne. Looking at the color and the shape on those can get pretty big, about 2 inches for their max size. And here's the largest piece of sea glass that I did find. Another bottle bottom, not too frosted on the underside. Yeah, see, that looks a little better frosted. And the edges are pretty good, so I'm gonna hold on to that one. We'll count it as sea glass. Here are all of the shells that I found out on MacArthur on this beautiful morning in Palm Beach. And these sea beans, I really am loving this wire wrapping project that I have found with them. Lots of Scotch bonnets. I'm missing the tips, but pretty decent ones, especially that little one. Little spotted one. It was really nice. The lion paws were fun to find. I'm missing their hinge wings, but that's okay. The Distorsio was pretty nice to find, and there's cherries in there, and that Gaudy Asaphis, the Sundial, and that big broken whelk. I just washed it off. I'm gonna just add it in the garden, but I really am happy with how the Triton Acorn Barnacle cluster bleached up. Pretty nice. Some cockles, and happy with that pink in that spiny there. Some nice shark eyes, a couple bottle bottoms, a big limpet, and some jewel boxes. Nice gnarly yellow thorny oyster. Will always pick up my lion pop pieces. Really like collecting those. Great thorny colors. A handful of my favorites from this beach walk. A little hard to come by, especially the Distorsio, the Sundial, and that hairy Triton. So really happy to find those. And I will not be overlooking my sea heart beans anymore. I just really have enjoyed learning new little wire wrapping techniques and watching a few different tutorials as well. And I will link that tutorial that I used the design for this one in this video's description. And I have made 3 of them, and I will put a couple of them in my Etsy shop. I'm going to keep one of them. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share this video with someone you think would enjoy watching also. Thank you for your subscription to my channel, and until next time, I leave you with this.